Today we are going to be speaking about the nostalgia of wanting Call of Duty 4 to return to us versus the reality of getting it back as Modern Warfare Remastered. But before we jump into this hot topic real quick, if you guys are watching this, then that means I made it to the big league, and I gotta say thank you to Thunder for allowing me to be on the channel for the first time. So, nostalgia versus reality. I figured we'd go in the order of the title, and to start this off, I think that it would be best to say that nostalgia can really only be an opinion if you played the game 10 years ago, and that immediately cuts out a large portion of the community nowadays, unfortunately, because your opinions are basically invalid. You didn't grow up playing this game in 7th and 8th grade, like a lot of the older Call of Duty players did. I'd also like to say that Call of Duty 4 was a big thing almost 10 years ago, and to have it remastered, well, as nice as it sounds, it really didn't play out that way. Modern Warfare in general is just a really stale, limited, boring game. It's based around strategy and pro nades, and a lot of people just don't like stuff like that. They like the newer Call of Duties where there's plenty of customization, 25 plus maps, 30 plus weapons, and Call of Duty 4 just doesn't have that. I'm not trying to make Modern Warfare Remastered sound like a bad game. I love it. I love the head glitches, I love the long lines of sight, I love the grenade spots, but I can't sit here and defend the game and leave out such a large portion of the community, seeing as how if you don't play Infinite Warfare, being that it's not really much of a game to begin with, and that would leave you with Modern Warfare Remastered, if you're having troubles enjoying that game, I just feel kind of bad for you, and I want to make a video kind of highlighting the reasons why Modern Warfare Remastered really just didn't need to come back. Now, there are a countless number of reasons why Modern Warfare Remastered should not have been remade, but the most important thing about nostalgia being a factor is that with nostalgia, you really only remember the good parts of the game. For example, when you're thinking of Modern Warfare 2, you think about the ACR, the amazing maps, the wide range of perks. You don't think about the one-man army noob tubes and how much you despised it. You think about the good memories you had with friends, the incredible streaks you went on, the good kill streaks, the glitches to hide in, the overpowered weapons before they were patched. You don't think about campers who were able to infinitely scavenge claymores and camp in a building. I just think in cases like this, nostalgia can be a very dangerous thing. I mean, I liked Space Invaders. Doesn't mean I want that shit backwards compatible. I'd be bored in 10 minutes. But I think I've really covered all that you can really talk about involving nostalgia, considering it's just an opinion brought on by feelings. And honestly, I think we just fell a little too hard for Call of Duty 4 coming back like we did for that one girlfriend in high school who ended up breaking our hearts. But moving on to the reality of the situation, the really juicy bit of this whole video. And I just gotta say it again to make sure you guys know that I do not hate Modern Warfare Remastered by any means. I actually really enjoy the game. I'm damn near 5th Prestige already. But the thing about the reality of Modern Warfare Remastered is that while there is a large player base on both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, about 7 million players altogether, a lot of people are kind of just playing it as their only alternative to Infinite Warfare. Or they're also going back to Black Ops 3 and a lot of the older CODs to kind of enjoy themselves like I've been doing myself. But that's the thing, people shouldn't have to be leaving or going to another game. They should be happy and content with the one they have. Or at least that's what our nostalgia was telling us. But again, the reality of the situation is that a lot of newer players aren't having fun playing on the difficult maps. They're not used to the maps and they didn't play them 10 years ago, so they do not know all the cheap spots, all the good nade throws, all the lines of sight, all the glitches. They can't really stand up against the veterans who know all the best class setups, and they definitely aren't having fun with the limited amount of perks and weapons that are in the game. Same goes for the maps. There's only 16 maps and 20 if they add the 4 DLC maps in the future, which I really hope they do because the game definitely needs it. But my point is that the reality of the situation is that this game was game-breaking and amazing almost 10 years ago. It's no longer game-breaking. It's actually behind where we're at right now. It's behind the current standard for Call of Duty, and that's turning a lot of people away. And with all the problems that Call of Duty has been having lately, I feel like this is the last one that should be on their list. With the COD points and the supply drops and the quality assurance that just isn't there, I really do hate that people are just genuinely getting bored and tired of the game now all of a sudden. I just feel like Modern Warfare Remastered has a lot more working against it than every other Call of Duty ever, honestly. Especially now that it's been brought back and it has way more attention than it ever did before. Every Call of Duty has its overpowered weapons and it's necessary to win perks, but Call of Duty 4, it's basically the M16 and stopping power to win the game, where the AK-74U and Juggernaut. Oh man, or times 3 frags. Don't even get me started on times 3 frags. If you're playing against a 6-man, which happens very often in Search and Destroy and Domination, or really any objective game mode, the other team has the capability of having 18 grenades. That's a little bit overkill in my opinion, and we definitely don't need that nowadays. You don't see Martyrdom or Last Stand anymore, and they both need to remain out of the game. That's just another example of how Call of Duty has evolved. And there's also the fact that there are basically no attachments on weapons. There's 1 to 3 attachments depending on what weapon class you use, and I just feel like that's so boring. Even for me, someone who loves the game, so it's gotta be 10 times worse for someone who's new to the game. And COD 4 just seems to bring out the worst in that aspect, when basically all of the recent Call of Duties, even the ones we didn't like, still managed to do a better job than COD 4. Call of Duty Ghosts, for example, you didn't have to use a certain set of perks. You could customize your perks any way that you wanted to. Same goes for your gun. As long as you used your points correctly, you could have the perfect class. And the only way people could replicate it is if you made a video or if you told someone. Your classes were unique to you and your playstyle, and I thought that was fantastic in Call of Duty Ghosts. But when you travel 10 years back in time to bring a game that was game-breaking at the time to the present, where there has been so much progress in that time gap, this is only a good thing to the veteran players. And as a community, we need to stay strong and keep everybody happy. Make sure that everybody has the best chance at enjoying the game that they can get. And unfortunately, we're just stuck with a bad game, and one that's just not so appealing to everyone. And sadly, there's nothing I can do about that, except hope for next year and hope that Sledgehammer Games will redeem Call of Duty and will redeem themselves and bring Call of Duty back to that #1 most seller spot on the list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name is Swift, and I hope to see you back on my channel. Peace.